The first team tackled the issue of employee safety recognition. While their end result did pertain to their topic, the specifics of it changed throughout. They initially sought to fix an inequity they observed between recognition for those in high-risk jobs versus those in low-risk jobs. However, after empathizing with their user, the team realized that employees were not concerned about the equity of their recognition, but rather the way they were recognized in the first place.
We found out what was really important to our frontline employees with the most dangerous jobs was ending the day with everybody still safe, no injuries, and being able to go home with their families.
The method and timeliness of safety rewards were ineffective. They were not an incentive to be safe, and the issuance was always delayed months. In addition, ITD's previous method of recognizing employee safety, awarding belt buckles, Leatherman knives, heavy-duty flashlights, or other trinkets commemorating 5-year increments of continued safety, was disallowed under the state's new compensation rules. This meant that the team had to come up with a new way to reward employee safety in a way that was meaningful, timely, and in compliance with state rules. Their solution was borrowed from an old military tradition: challenge coins. A coin will be issued when an employee is seen exhibiting a safe behavior, in addition to the aforementioned 5-year milestones. The coins work at 3 different levels: bronze, silver, and gold. These levels correspond with the levels of hierarchy from which the coins will be issued, bronze being the lowest level, gold being the highest. The coins are collectible, meaningful, and easy to distribute. Most importantly, they solve the team's design challenge to provide good employee safety recognition. The second team focused on innovation recognition. The team was comprised of Idaho Transportation Department's innovation stewards, the shepherds of ITD's Innovate ITD effort. One important part of Innovate ITD is the employee recognition. The stewards knew that current recognition was not effective, and believed this was one of the reasons participation was dwindling in innovation efforts.
How do we show that people's ideas matter, that we actually want to encourage people to have that idea, and that we don't want people to be afraid of those ideas?
The stewards empathized and gathered a lot of feedback from ITD employees.
Empathy affected our project because it helped us truly understand the question of why we are trying to solve our problem. Through empathy, our problem becomes personified.
That's one of the really interesting things about design thinking, is you can go into it with one question, and halfway in the middle you realize that you're not even asking the right question.
They then created composite characters from this data to create their insights and began ideating on possible solutions.
What we ended up coming up with was how can we show the ITD employee in general that their ideas matter? And suddenly that had application to not just headquarters, but all the districts, and it could be something that might be a gathering, it might be something else we didn't know at the time.
After prototyping and receiving feedback, it was discovered that a key element missing in the current process was the omission of the supervisor/managers in their communication chain, leaving them completely unaware of efforts their employees were initiating. The biggest takeaway from this was the fact that the number one thing employees cared about was their supervisor's recognition. They wanted their boss to care about their ideas. This illuminating moment resulted in the selection of modifying the current process to include supervisors in the communication. The SHIFT team was focused on developing a toolbox for Idaho employers to use in promoting safe, engaged driving behaviors among their workforce and their families and friends. The bulk of their project involved determining what exactly a toolbox entailed. A team was created of employees from ITD and Idaho Power to explore what the toolbox needed to do and what it could do.
So we thought it was, more the paper route of, hey, here are some policies on paper, and that's kind of what we were leaning towards. So the problem is, what was the toolbox? What were we going to come up with? But it turned into a whole different ballgame.
The initial idea of having the toolbox simply be a set of documents didn't resonate very well. The team later shifted their thinking from focusing on Idaho employers to Idaho drivers, utilizing the employers as an avenue to reach those drivers. The team ended up realizing that they didn't have to be restrictive about the parameters of the toolbox or the format of what it contained. Instead, they landed on the notion of a collaborative toolbox of lots of employers who contribute their best practices for encouraging safe driving behaviors. They also revisited an older campaign that engaged employers and decided to use that as their stepping stone to move forward and enlist Idaho employers to the effort. The first contributors to the toolbox will be Idaho Transportation Department and Idaho Power themselves. Some of the initial tools to be placed into the toolbox will include sample policies, graphics, training videos, and even a virtual reality experience to help create extended empathy in the driving community.